Tracking the pulse of the road and the future of flight. From viral trends to policy shifts, we cut through the traffic to bring you the stories that drive us. Your fast-track guide to everything on the move starts right now. From the Villano News Channel studio to Mellow 947 BFM. I'm Gie Barroga, and this is Shift Happens. We begin with the latest in mobility. President Bongbong Marcos has ordered an immediate technical assessment of Colyat Bridge 2 along Congressional Avenue in Quezon City after a fire damaged the structure on Saturday night. The Department of Public Works and Highways says temporary repairs are underway on portions of the bridge where the asphalt pavement lifted due to the intense heat. Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon said a technical team is conducting a structural evaluation to determine the extent of the damage and the rehabilitation work needed to ensure the bridge is safe for motorists. The Quezon City government is advising motorists to take alternate routes until further notice. The Ninoy Aquino International Airport Terminal 3 will implement temporary traffic changes at its passenger drop-off curve to allow for the installation of a new canopy that will shield passengers from rain and heat. The changes will take effect from July 15 to August 14 between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. During this period, passenger drop-offs will be moved to the outer departure lane of the airport. In case of traffic buildup, departing passengers may enter NAIA Terminal 3 through Arrival Base 1 and 8, then take the elevator up to the check-in counters. Traffic marshals and directional signs will be deployed to assist both passengers and drivers. On to our topic, every day millions of Filipinos commute to work, school, or home. And while the destination may be the same, the journey is often filled with traffic, delays, and unexpected challenges. From sharing real-time commuting updates to starting conversations about better transportation, online communities have become a voice for everyday commuters. One of those communities is How's Your Byahe Best, a platform that began as a space for people to discuss, share ideas, and advocate for better mobility and urban planning in the Philippines. To tell us how How's Your Byahe Best grew into a community for commuters, its mission to promote better mobility, and why every commuter's voice matters, we're joined today by Janardan, Ladyong, and Justine Villano. Welcome back to Shift Happens, Janardan, and of course, Justine, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
First things first, how's your biyahe, mga bes?
So far, okay naman.
Okay, you came from San Juan and si Justine came from Santa Mesa.
Yeah.
So tell us about your travel going here, since we're talking about your biyahe.
Both of us bike commuted here. So I came from San Juan. It's just around like 3 kilometers. So it only took me around 20 minutes. Kasama na yung cool down nun para magpalit ng damit. Ganun.
For Justine.
Came from Old Santa Mesa heading here. And Domingo, it took around 30 minutes. It's around 5 kilometers for me, and a lot of heat and, weaving through traffic.
Okay, let's talk about How's Your Byahe Best. What is this platform all about, and what do you do for the community?
Okay, so How's Your Byahe Best started, it was created by a group of individuals. Some of them are urban planners and transport engineers. And they started the How's Your Byahe Best back in April 30, 2018, so to basically talk about transport. I think since back then, we've had problems with public transport specifically. So yeah, that's how they started. So it was actually patterned from new urbanist transit, new urbanist NUMTUT, new urbanist mobility for transit-oriented teens, I think. Yeah. So, dun siya nanggaling, yung parang idea. Then, the name naman is from, parang that time, it was very common to have groups like What's Your Ulam Pare? So, they changed the name to Best because it's more inclusive. Kasi pag pare, mas more on panglalaki, di ba? So, they changed it into Best so it will become more inclusive. So, that's basically how it started, from a small group of people who just wanted to discuss about better transport options for everyone.
For you, Justin, what's the trigger like para umpisahan itong community na to and for you to stay in where it is right now?
I think the trigger is like ever since the one we're having after World War II, we had significant transportation crisis in the country. And, you know, that frustration, everyday commuting, the heat, akit ka ng footbridge na pataas. It's like climbing up a building. You know, it's the commuters, you know, they want a place to vent, but How's Your Byahe Best became not just venting, it's more on discussing how do we do this? How do we solve the commuting in the country?
So from a small group when you started, how did it become this big right now that it has become like a space for all commuters, for all road users to talk about issues affecting them in terms of transportation?
I think it's because, like I said last time, the majority of the Filipinos, they take public transport. Mas marami yung mga taong nagko-commute using public transport. So it became an avenue for them to discuss. Like, for example, some of them post real-time updates on like what's happening in MRT or LRT. So it became that. But much more than that, those who started the group really wanted it to be a platform to discuss how to improve, especially with by pushing forward what's called the sustainable transport hierarchy, wherein the pedestrians are the topmost of the hierarchy, and sunod dun yung active transport, then public transport. Huli talaga sa transport hierarchy yung mga private vehicles. Kaso lang sa atin dito kasi, usually, baliktad. Private vehicles ang priority ng government. Everything else just parang sila lang yung may extra. So, marami sa atin, akala natin, ay hindi, magpa-public transport kami pag umayos na yung kotse. Pero what's happening with our transport system is that more often than not, it's the private vehicles that are prioritized over public transport. So meron tayong mga UV Express ban, jeepney ban, wala yan sa EDSA. Hindi sila pwede sa EDSA. Bakit? Kasi nga, priority yung private motor vehicle usage, which is yun nga yung nagiging issue na yung prioritization ng movement ng private vehicles over yung movement of people. That's why there's a slogan of How's Your Byahe, yun nga, yung move people, not cars, which is naging topic siya nung last elections. Maraming nakarelate, at the same time marami ring politicians who used that. And they also wanted to be part of that movement na maging commuters naman ang maging priority imbis na private vehicles.
So Justin, we all know the big impact of social media nowadays. And How's Your Byahe Best being an online community, how do you see it being so helpful for commuters? Because you said about them telling their stories, telling their problems on the road, yung solving problem, how does that work?
You know, last night I asked, how do I get to Anilao, Batangas through commuting? And then people answered. Later on, may nag-comment na like, there's a DLTV bus on Buendia that you can take, or another, and then take a jeepney. People want to share their experiences. People want to say, this is how you do it. Kasi diba, when you're asking your parents or your tita or tito, how do you commute? You know, they're gonna say, ganito, ganyan. How's Your Byahe Best became that place of sharing. And then another example was the MRT 3 recently. There's a long line, and then people shared, mahaba pila dito. So, and then that's what's happening right now. Before, most of the founders and members was experts, and now we're having these experiences of people. But if you look on the perspective on experts, you know, not everything you can see kahit expert ka, because you have to look on the intersectionality, the experiences of people. Like, maybe it's not safe for a woman to walk at night in this area, or maybe this area, pwede, di ba? So yeah.
Why do you think there is still a transportation crisis in the Philippines, as you've mentioned? But before that, we'll take a short break. But when we return, we'll continue our conversation on the realities of commuting in the Philippines and how a community of everyday commuters is helping shape the future of mobility. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're tuned in to the Billionaire News Channel and Mellow 947 BFM. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Looking for the perfect escape? Discover Club Nalu, a serene beachfront retreat where stillness meets style. Nestled along the quiet shores of Bacnotan in La Union, Club Nalu is designed for slow mornings, ocean breezes, and moments that help you unwind. From cozy rooms and sun-drenched villas to relaxing spaces inspired by nature. Every corner invites you to pause, breathe, and recharge. Club Nalu, come as you are and leave feeling a little lighter. Book now at clubnalu.ph.
And we're back. This is Shift Happens. I'm Gie Barroga, and you're listening to Mellow 947 BFM. Simulcast to BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. We're still here with Justine, Villano, and Janardan Ladyong of How's Your Byahe Best. So, why do you guys think there is still a quote-unquote transportation crisis in the Philippines?
Because, look, we started after World War II, we had jeepneys, right? Those are improvised transportation mode. And then we just basically after that, during the 60s and 70s and 80s, you had massive expansion of highways. So the government priority wasn't solving public transport. And then now we're experiencing that setback. You have long wait times, low frequency of buses, jeepneys, trains, and then you have delays, right? Another example is circuitry. For example, you're going from point A to point B, but you actually have to go a detour to another city. This is an example in Central Luzon. For example, you have to go to Evaisia. You can't go through, let's say, Coimba. Apparently, there's no buses passing through. Not a lot of buses are passing through. You have to go to Licab and other towns. And then you have buses when people are standing, people are sitting on the floor. That's a transportation crisis at that point. And then not a lot of modes of transportation are given to the people. And then there's this cost of transfer. When we talk about walkability, it's really important because, for example, you drop off in a jeepney and then you're gonna take the MRT. Let's say you're coming from Antipolo, you take the LRT2, and then you take the MRT3, and then there's long walks, right? So that's really, it should be solved, yeah.
That one is kind of similar to what Doc Cyrus Gomari, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He was here, he is a transport scientist, and said that what we have right now, in Metro Manila in particular, is just public transport, not a public transport system. And
yeah.
that's exactly what you were talking about, Justine. But with How's Your Byahe Best, what do you think is like the biggest achievement you have done for the commuting public?
I think yun nga yung recently, we were able to open yung, dati kasi yung Mega Mall and yung Shangri-La, there's a fence in between. So para makatawid ka dun from to Mega Mall and vice versa, iikot ka dun sa fence. We were able to convince, I think, via the LGU and with the corporations as well, na buksan yon para maging mas madali tumawid yung mga pedestrians. Kasi sobrang daming tumatawid talaga doon, araw-araw. It's actually, yun nga, sobrang ano talaga yung tawiran na yon. Lalo na kasi andun yung MRT sa Shaw, may MRT doon. na mas malapit kaysa dun sa mega mall area na alanganin. Yung Ortigas na MRT, medyo alanganin yung, yung pwesto.
Tsaka yan yung area talaga na tawiran ng madaming tao. Like,
Yeah.
all the time, diba? But with House Your Byahe Best, this is an online community. But was there a time na nagkita-kita kayo for a meet-up to discuss in person naman itong mga transport, mobility, solutions, problems that the Philippines has?
So far, actually, no. More on talagang online siya. We have like, parang tawag dito, partners, like with Move Us One, na yun yung mas merong physical, Move Us One Coalition, and Alt Mobility. Sila yung mas merong physical na interaction, and they also lobby with Congress. Pero yung House Your Byahe Best, more on like talagang online discussions siya. Hindi naman bawal mag-meet yung mga but we're actually very protective also of our members. That's why yung lalo na when asking for directions, we actually encourage people to ask for directions anonymously, lalo na yung mga work kasi siyempre delikado, alam nila kung saan ka pupunta. So we actually encourage people to use yung anonymous feature for that, specifically for that.
Yeah. But Justine, how do you maintain a healthy and respectful environment when it comes to House Your Byahe Best, considering na online community, halo-halo yung mga tao, we don't know everyone. So how do you do that?
Yeah, our main goal is inclusivity. So even if we have people that doesn't share the same ideas as us, we include them in our group. And then, of course, there's some weakness to some members of the group, like this argument or this solution. And actually, I got critique of some, ideas, and I accepted that. And then we recognize some patterns, like some coordinated attack in a specific individual or company, and then we discuss it. Is this a pattern? Like, how do we, as moderators team, how do we solve this? What do we do? So we try to, as much as possible, deliberate, discuss on what this user is trying to do in this group. Yeah.
Okay, with House Your Byahe Best being here since 2018, did you see, but we're still talking about the same issues, the same problems, but meron ba kahit konti lang na improvement kayong nakita when it comes to our transportation system?
Yeah. EDSA carousel is really helpful. Hopefully we'll have Commonwealth carousel and heading to España. Hopefully. We are discussing that in the group. And then you have bike lanes. Move Us One was able to lobby for active transportation funding. You have any thoughts?
So I think isa pang medyo achievement ng House Your Byahe Best is we were able to sort of delay yung Parex or yung expressway na ilalagay sa ibabaw ng Pasig River. So actually, nung umpisa, it was already canceled. It was announced to be canceled by the corporation that will be funding it. Pero medyo nagbago sila ng tune, ginawang postponed lang. Pero yun nga, at least we were able to, kahit na papano, postpone that. And even with Salex, I think nandun din yung, ngayon, before like maybe 20 years ago, pag may naglagay ng expressway, elevated expressway, walang kokontra kasi parang sa atin progress yan, economic development, etc. Pero right now, people are now more inclined to think of actually more sustainable forms of development na hindi lang basta expressway. We need to think of yung flood, kung ano yung magiging cost ng expressway, yung urban blight, like for example, yung skyway sa Araneta Avenue, tsaka yung Quirino Avenue, pinatay niya yung businesses sa ilalim. Yun yung tinatawag na urban blight. Kasi nga, dahil puro speed na ng motor vehicles yung wala ng community na nade-develop sa ilalim ng expressway. That's why we're actually against, yun nga, magkaroon pa ng additional expressway na ma-undermine yung community na nandun sa area.
So, what mobility trends do you think should the Philippines adopt maybe from other countries na palagay nyo mag-work sa Pilipinas for us to improve our transportation system?
was in Manila. I think we have to improve walkability in the city of Manila. A city of Manila is very small, and then there's a lot of opportunities for active transportation, like bike lanes, more bike infrastructure, bike parking. And I think that's the trend we should go for. And then encouraging more people taking trains if you're coming far away, and buses.
So yun, I think like he said, more on we have to prioritize public transport. And with that in mind, na talagang for the improvement and efficiency of public transport. Hindi yung maglagagawa tayo ng public transport na para mapadali yung motor vehicle traffic, which is what is usually happening. So kumbaga, yung PTEX, nilagay yan dyan, away from everyone else, na dadayuhin pa ng mga public transport users. Kasi nga, para umayos yung flow ng private vehicles. Maling idea yon. Dapat yun yung mabago, especially with the government, na we have government agencies na yun kasi yung metrics nila, yung tinatawag na level of service or LOS. Na ang sinasabi nga natin, dapat mabago na yun kasi sobrang outdated na siya. It's no longer working. We've been doing it for decades. Pero until now, andun pa rin tayo na yung level of service ng gobyerno is mapabilis yung private motor vehicle traffic. Na ang gagawin nila, tatanggalin nila yung buses, tatanggalin nila yung jeepneys para lang mapabilis. Dapat hindi eh. Dapat nga i-prioritize yung buses, i-prioritize yung public transport. We need more carousels. We need more bus rapid transit systems. Kasi yun yung, para yung mga tao, mas mag-shift sila lalo na sa public transport.
So Justine and Janardan, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming to Shift Happens. And that concludes our roundup of the stories driving the industry forward. I'm Gie Barroga. Join us again tomorrow on Shift Happens, your fast-track guide to everything on the move. Keep it here on the Billionaire News Channel and Mellow 947 BFM.